It is time for another on-time start of my once weekly program titled The Hour. So welcome guys for my little 60 minutes. That's all I give for a week. I am not one to bother you too frequently, but at least I appear on a Sunday on the hour. I give 1 hour of my time to you, specifically to you, because I owe it to you. I cannot be selfish, whoever, whatever, professional, and know the things that I know to myself and keep it to myself. There are too many of us who do that. So I comment on my live social media and I make my contribution. And if you quantify the work put into the contributions that I make, you'll understand that it's a worthy and worthwhile contribution. I make sure whenever I come on here, I don't speak of things that I do not know of. I don't try to mislead, to divide, or to deceive. I speak based on my own competencies and on my brother vision for inclusion. Never want to try to be selfish in any way, shape, or form, because I believe now more than ever before Dominican needs a voice or many voices of reason. And I would like to think that mine is one of those voices. So, welcome to the hour. Today, we're going to look at the pitfalls of perpetual existence in survival mode. I will break that down in a little while, but that is the framing that I'm using for our discussion. The pitfalls of perpetual existence in survival mode. As I've said on many occasions, all of what I do now, 99% of what I do now is for the next generation. But I think some of us are caught in a present epoch, which is guided by a past that have romanticized our look, our idea, the way we think. So it is hard to break that off, slap that off, take it out of some people's thinking. And as such, trying to hide sometimes is trying to hide. So I have refocused my energy on the youth. And there's a great majority of those who are codified as youth who are still not receptive, or may not be because their minds are on other things, but there are some productive youth. I had a conversation with one recently, and I had a conversation with one not too recently. I speak with youth all the time about things that they want to run by me for clarity. And it is amazing how the youth think, which is far and apart and distinct from how the average person who is not a youth think right now, especially the politicians. So I must say that somehow I am still attractive to the youth, and the youth have come to me en masse for ideas, especially when it comes to politics and governance. And I feel so good about the future. That's why I have decided to focus my energy on the next generation. So if you have a daughter or son, or nephew or niece who is 10 years old, 9 years old, let them listen to me on a Sunday. I am programming with them in mind. A teenager, let them. I remember when I used to be on radio regularly, people would allow their children to listen to me on a Saturday morning on DBS because my programs always enlightened. And I remember also when I was doing a serial on another program, people would have their children listen to me to learn about politics and stuff like that, because I always seek to educate while I entertain as well. And when I used to host Calypso regularly, people used to come there just to take in the antics of Calypso with my brother Val, Young Bull Coffee. Mainly, he's an amazing, phenomenal man on stage. So everything that I've done have always been geared at helping, educating, informing. And on this program as well, on a Sunday, mothers, aunts, uncles, let your children listen. Because what Uncle Powell is doing is trying to get to the children, trying to let them know that I hear you, we understand you, I feel you. I'm not here to push things on you. I'm here to echo the things that you wish to say, because I am in touch with the children. I'm in touch with the youth. And e pedi nou sa nou ka fe actuellement, nou ka fe manye kom si nou ka ide tripe ya pou ses afan. The children will not have a Dominica that they can enjoy tomorrow if we do not turn the corners 10 years ago. So we are way behind time. And some people are still marking time, trying to do things on their own, hiding, playing civil Soviet, trying to reap benefits that they had no work in sowing. And they're trying to be selectively inclusive because they are greedy and selfish. It's all about them and their party and what they want. So to heck with anybody else who wants to do it differently, progressively, collectively. No, 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 no. It's me. I have to fight for me. And they're fighting, dying, and not realizing that the people that they're fighting against are the ones who can help them to get there. So I've resigned myself from the thought of trying to work with some people. Instead, I'm trying to educate. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to connect with the next group of people who are going to decide what's going to happen to Dominica. So that's why I wanted to speak about the pitfalls of perpetual existence in survival mode. And I placed a picture on there which talks about food alone won't do it. And not just food as in manna. I mean, you're talking about education and everything else, but you can be educated and be a damn fool, you know. There are a lot of educated fools that I know, and Bob Marley said so. I do not know. I mean, like, I do not know whether I should even call myself an educated person. I think I have done some work because I don't belong to the ilk of the smart ones. I've been told so in no uncertain terms that there are people who are smart. I'm not the only smart person I see, but I'm not even a smart person. I'm just a person who's willing to see things different. So don't call me, don't put me in all your category. So food alone, meaning education and knowledge, is not the answer. You know, although it helps, education certainly is the key. But you may have the key and cannot open the door because you may be educated and work against your own education by not saying what you see to be the case. How could you, with your full senses, be in Dominica now and see the way things are running and defend it, say that it is good? It's not good. Now, there are reasons why probably things are not changing, and we'll get to that sometime, but it is not good. No professional who is worth their salt will sit back and say, Dominica, bodudu. And yet people do it. So you see, it's not education, you know. It is occupation, it is the job. And I'm going to speak about the job. That post seems to have provoked some people who made some comments, and I'm happy that they did. And one of those comments came from Viva Mamu, who wanted to ask a question that he or she said came from someone. So I'm going to read that question verbatim, and I'm going to respond as I promised I would, because there was some comment and some discussions stemming from that comment. So let's begin by quoting Viva Mamo, what Viva Mamo wrote under the post, try to answer it, and we will move on with my little take. I will connect what I'm saying here with my book, Dame Eugenia Unedited, that I have here. I'm going to read from today. I may not be able to get to Asa because I promised I would have been doing a little section on him. I know he's in Nottingham right now for Carnival in England, but we'll see if we can get to him. Producer, if you can get something, maybe maybe, but if not, we will just continue to give Asa our love and to tell him just continue flying Dominica's flag. But we have other work to do, and I'm going to approach Viva Mamu. Viva has been a little quiet. He or she is not on my case as they used to be before, and that's good. That's a good sign when people. Is it a good sign? I think it is. So Viva, whatever you're doing, I hope it's working for you. But I'm happy that you commented on my post. Viva says, well, even before I see what Viva said, I should read the full gist of my promotion for the program today. And I said the pitfall of perpetual existence in survival mode. This is the focus of discussion on the hour this Sunday live on my social media platforms. I'll relate the discussions to my book. and make an appeal to the youth. That's the post. And my dear friend Viva said, I was requested by a follower. Well, Viva, I suspect people are using you, man. How could a follower request of you, first of all? I mean, that sounds so bizarre-ish because anybody who's following should write or could write. But anyway, Viva says, I was requested by a follower to ask what is the difference between creation of job and the creation of opportunities for people to earn. So Viva, let me answer. What is a job? And what is an opportunity? A job is a particular form of occupation or employment in a particular field or area or category based on some agreed conditions for recompense. That is a job. To simplify it, you do that for me, I give you that for what you do for me. Job. That is a job. Opportunity or the creation of an opportunity is to formulate an environment that would not necessarily require that I give you a job, but that you create your own opportunities to take care of your responsibilities. So an environment that is necessary and right for the creation of opportunities that you can capitalize on. And most people who capitalize on those opportunities are entrepreneurs, people who are different from just job holders. So Viva Mamo, that is the difference between a job and the creation of opportunities for people to earn. So you could be in quarrying, it could be in fishing, diving, business, agro-processing, banana cultivation, whatever. They are enabling environments, there are opportunities within the system for people to do something that they love doing. Masonry, carpentry, biking, whatever. So Viva asked, what is the difference between the creation of a job and the creation of opportunities to earn? I think the difference is the opportunities to earn goes beyond just the job. Because I have a job, that job can be taken away from me. But if I have an opportunity to earn from things in place, chances are it's a bit more solid, although I might have to do a bit more to get it done, but there's more sense of continuity and accomplishment. So both have their pluses, and there can be some minor setbacks to just a job. Again, it depends on the kind of job. Because some of us have good jobs, some of us do not have great jobs, but those of us who have good jobs or great jobs can be out of a job. You never know how the table turns. So it is better that there are opportunities in place to create opportunities to earn. And I advise those people with jobs or in jobs to try to have other opportunities as well to earn, because you never know when that door of that job is closed, what happens. So Viva, that is my response to that part of the question. Viva continues to say, also to make money and grow wealth. All that is true. Wealth and money are different concepts, as Viva hinted. Money is the currency of authority or the currency of the economy. The thing that you hold or earn, not physically, but sometimes electronically. And normally money is exchanged for services rendered. Wealth is not just money. It is the accumulation of assets and other such amenities that fetch value, some kind of value that can be put in dollars and cents. Inheritance that you may have gotten, the ownership of assets, intellectual property, etc., 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 etc. So Gordon Henderson is very wealthy. He may not necessarily have a lot of money, but he has wealth because he has assets that can be converted into large ashesh. So if you ask me about money and wealth, I want to be wealthier. I would like to be wealthy than rich, because riches is just tokens. Wealth and inheritance, as Viva suggested, are things that you can pass on or you can inherit. So far, so good, Viva. Viva says the commentator does not believe that we should be focusing solely on job creation per se, but the creation of enabling socioeconomic political environment with opportunities for people to earn livelihood. I agree, Viva, 100%. Viva says the rational advance is that we must offer Dominicans the opportunity to make money. Well, I was not talking about Dominica. Viva, whenever I do my programs, I don't focus on Dominica. Anybody in any part of the world can listen and say, that is something appealing to me. Yes, I'm Dominican and my base would be Dominica, but anytime you make Dominica your focus, Viva, you're in trouble. Because I think, great support and feedback from Dominica, but I think my non-Dominican people, fans, more readily engage. Honestly, I mean, constructively. Dominicans do, but in their own way. Some of them, partisan, whatever. But yes, I like my professor Naylor, Heather, who is a wonderful friend, a colleague, a bestie. Normally have some very quality exchanges with me and Professor Ross and others like that. And they're not Dominicans, but they follow my program. All right. So I'm not catering my program for Dominica, to Dominica. Although Dominica is a project that needs fixing, but no, I know. I don't rest everything on the laurels of on the Dominican domains, so to speak. Viva says young people want to make money, not necessarily to have a job. Viva, you are right. I have proven that to be the case. I started saying that, I think, this afternoon. And most of our successful people never had jobs and do not want traditional jobs where they are working for a wage or a salary. I understand that, but not everybody can be like most people, like some people. In fact, the majority of people are job holders. The few who have made themselves into institutions, and I can call the names, these major suspects, like Suki and Macmillan and Popon, I can just call all the names. They're not very many. These people are very precious and few and far in between. The 90% of Dominicans would have a job because that's just how the world works. Those people with special assets and businesses create jobs and opportunities for people. So I am not bashing the job business. I'm just saying that it is good if you can transcend the job and have opportunities to create jobs. But jobs are crucial and necessary and important. Some people in Dominica, Viva, all they want is a job. In fact, I know more young people in Dominica who want a job than not. They would want to do other things, as you say, away from traditional jobs. But if the average youth in Dominica got a job right now, I think they would do the job as long as it is something that they feel like doing. So far, so good, Viva. Think of the farmers, the fishermen, the shop owners, bus drivers, and others who will tell you, I do not want to work for anybody. I want to work for myself and earn my own money. Viva, that is true. And the shopkeepers who started doing their business with $200, $300. And shortly after, well, not shortly after, but years down the line, they are millionaires. Not everybody can work a shop to make $1 million. If somebody can use a shop and become a millionaire, that person is somebody that should be in government or advising people on business. I think Suki did it, not just a shop. Suki have an enterprise now. And how did Suki start on a bicycle? This is a man that has to be respected. And a politician was brazen enough to diss Suki, And Suki is in the same ilk with her father, But she was dissing Suki. Some people just do not know where they come from. They forget themselves. So I give power to Suki and Macmillan and Popon. Those three names are three heroes in my book. So I don't look at shopkeepers as, and I don't call them shopkeepers, I call them business people, entrepreneurs, small business operators, and they are significant. The average shopkeeper have taken care of their family on their little shop. I remember when my grandfather stopped doing farming and working down in the village in his little shop, selling his little, little speakeasy and little cigarette and stuff. He used to make a living for himself, not much, but he was surviving on it. He and my mother. So this is big business, man. Big small business. I don't look down. And the fishermen are major business people. They go out there knowing not what they're going to fetch, but they go in faith and they come back with a full load. Sometimes nothing, but sometimes something. So yes, my heart goes out to them, and those people cannot do traditional jobs, but some of us need to do a traditional job. Because I think I'm in a traditional job. Viva. Probably you might even be in one as well. So I don't knock it down too much. Viva said, unless we are able to change the mindset of our people at this stage of our socio-political development, and they will continue the dependency on others rather than look for opportunities for self-development. I agree. But they didn't put themselves. The system created the dependency, and they are hopelessly bound, most of them. We just have to fix the system by getting rid of the people who have the system so, and create the opportunities you're speaking about, Viva. But your friends who are trying to be secretive and selfish with how we fix it are not doing justice, because people like me and you, Viva, we want to get involved. But they who believe that it should be their time to be in power do not want us involved. They try all their best to stop, to hide, to kill, to bury me. The thing about me is that I am golden, I am connected, and every move they make, I know it before them. Every move they make, I know it before them. And I say, boy, why not, man? Why not? All you have to do is make a phone call. Why be so quick to jump, to conclude, to do things? Talk to people who are willing to help. I want to help to make you something to put you in government, and you're working against your best help, maybe. So, Viva, the problem is not the people, it's the people who are leading the people. And there are some politicians on both sides of the spectrum of the major established political parties who are deceiving the people, who are lying to the people, and the people are believing them for the past how many years? 20, 15, 30 years. And the people are hurt. Some of them are fed up. Some have given up because of the unscrupulous leaders that the youth do not even listen to and will never follow. The youth, they will never follow them. And I'm speaking based on things that I know. As we speak, I know of something huge that they don't think I know, but I know. I know. I may not be on your forum, but I know what's taking place on your forum. So try that. Viva says, P.S., this not necessarily Viva's opinion, it is just being transmitted. So Viva, I am a conscientious man, and I like to follow through on the promises that I made. I promised you that I would have dealt with the topic, your question, and your inquiry, and I did so respectfully, Viva. I was not angry, but I think you are someone very important, and I wanted to do justice to your contribution because you made the time, and I promised I would. There are some other people who spoke as well and asked me to make sure I deal with that. I dealt with it. Okay, Viva? So we all good. And I did you first, Viva. Give you priority. So let's go back to my topic now, as was presented. The pitfalls of perpetual existence in survival mode. I don't blame my people. I blame the system that I've created an environment which is enabling for mere survival. And I grew up hearing people say, I am surviving. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? I'm surviving. Thank God. So this is not a new thing, Viva. You would have heard that too, Viva. Probably you're not as young as I am, or probably I'm as not as young as you are, but I'm sure you would have heard that saying, I'm surviving. I heard it as far back as possible when the older people would answer, "How you do? I'm there, I'm surviving. Thank God. I woke up today. I'm alive." So that survival mode mentality was planted in our people's mind not now, long before, by politicians. Not Patrick, John, and Leblanc, you know. Patrick, John, and Leblanc wanted people to thrive. That was the mentality of their movement, of their political ideology. When Dominica was led by ideology, right now Dominica is led by, I don't know what to call it, and I don't want to categorize it lest I hurt anybody's feeling. But it was not Leblanc, and it was not Patrick John who created that mentality of survival. They created something called thriving, where people did not just survive. People had the opportunity to get their own houses that they paid for and had their bill of sale or whatever it is, their land certificate for the property that the environment created for them to so do. Many people know in Buffet State who have augmented their building and their housings. Look at the houses in Buffet State. Mainly came out of Patrick John's housing scheme. Now the people might be saying, well, they vote in Labour to help because Labour give them a house. That was not that. What is in government now is not Labour. Patrick John may have given you the opportunity as Labour to get a building, but what is benefiting from Patrick's work is against Patrick's work, because they have created a different kind of ethos, a survival ethos, which is perpetual. I'm not going to break down parties. I'm just saying it wasn't Patrick and it was not Leblanc. So put the tools together and you will see how this idea of I want you to depend on me to do that for you got started, where and from whom. Because that certainly is not a leftist ideology. You know, the leftists do not want to give you and do for you. You know, the leftists want everybody to earn equally. So that ideology of dependency comes from people who are confused and they have intentions of grandeur to last in power based on the people's despair. So I'm not going to blame Dominicans for the dependency that has gripped our society. If I had been existing in Dominica now, like some of my friends, I would be doing the same thing, probably going to ask to feed my family. Do you know what it is to have a family that you cannot feed? A child that you cannot give food, a sick parent you cannot get medication for? So I don't blame the people. Yes, probably that some of them can do better, but the majority of our people who rely and who depend are people who take a job today if they had one, who, if the opportunity arose or present itself, would do a little bush medicine, package that and sell that. Some people don't even have 10 cents right now to buy something, to make something. A ginger, mint, a frozen joy, extra strong, those little things. No, extra strong was not locally made. But Margarine Vona from Calibishi, that's all the lady made on a Sunday. She would come out on a Saturday afternoon sometime too, when there's a little party, a little thing, a merry-go-round by my Yayam. Then we sit down there on a tray and sell her little confectionaries and go for her little money. She sent her children to school and build a house. But the economy is in problems. So I don't blame the people. The idea of perpetual survival did not start now. So we have become so used to it, and more people are gravitating away. Is away to or towards? Because somebody talk about gravitating in a way that did not make a lot of sense to me one time, and that same person is in parliament today talking about the measurement of the socioeconomic standards of Dominica based on people in VIP. I mean, really? Really? I mean, come on. Get serious. You're a policymaker. You're an elected member of the legislature. And that is your analysis of the economy? That's the best you can do? That's what my children's going to have to learn from our policymakers, our lawmakers, the government? No, man, we can do better than that, man. And I think we will do better than that. It's coming. So this idea of perpetual survival mode is a problem. People should not think that they are just surviving. Right now, the average Dominican is merely surviving. And that is the problem. So to help them to think beyond survival is to gain their trust. And I know a lot of people in Dominica trust. Those people who are too red or too blue, not to fine. But those who are not too red or not too blue say, well, Alex, boy, you're making sense. You have laddie why, continue. I give you my blessings quietly, but you're making a lot of sense. If only you put yourself in the ring, I'll be happy. And I keep on telling myself, but when I put myself in the ring, who's going to do what I'm doing there? Because I can't be in the ring politically and do what I'm doing there. I know a journalist who used to do it well, and he or she went into the business and they just not doing it well again because they can't be a journalist and in the ring. So you have to choose one. My choice and my love is education. So I'm going to stick to that as much as I can. So going in the ring, it takes me out of the picture. You're just going to hear me now talking about how I'm going to maintain myself in the ring. You see, that's how politics is. So yes, I think I have what it takes. But who's going to do the education, man? Who's going to stand up and say it as it is? Call the pot black if it is black, or white, or blue, or pink. That's how I do it. So the point I'm making is that to be surviving is not a good thing, even if they told you it was a good thing. It is just surviving. You want to thrive. You want to go beyond surviving. You want to go beyond just getting food to put in your mouth from today, tomorrow. You want to plan an endowment plan, have certain things in place for your inheritance, for you to pass on to others, for you to earn, have a plan to save money, to buy stocks, annuities, for your pension. That is when you talk about survival. How many of us in Dominica right now can say that we have things in place for if anything happened to us? I know somebody who can do it, and they said it on a platform before elections. I know there's nobody here today who is able to send their children overseas to study because you have no medical insurance. But I have, and I can do it. The man said that way in Newtown, and he got a bigger election victory after he said that. So I'm watching, and I know Dominicans are watching and waiting, and Dominicans will get what it is that they want when the right time comes. Right now, I don't think Dominicans are inspired by anyone right now who's claiming that they are the hope. Because you cannot be the hope and being so anxious and angry and vexed about things. Hope is not vexed. Show me where you have ever seen hope angry. Anger is different. It's total concept altogether. No, you can be anxious. You can be urgent. And you can even be angry too. Some people can question that. I just don't think hope is angry. I don't think so. You may be able to intertwine your anger to mix it with your hope, yes. But again, it calls for a little finesse. It calls for a delicate dance. Some people just be so angry and you don't even know they're angry. If you can do that, fine. Or if you need to show anger, show it. But you cannot always be seemingly showing anger. And with hunger comes despair and anger. I know that. But man, if you don't curb your anger and control it, we will kill each other. It's not good. And talk to Chris Bugunu, a trained soldier. He can teach you about resistance. de-escalation techniques, which I learned. Did I say learned? Learned. Because, you know, there's some cultures where learned is learned and learn is learned. I'm trying to dabble in between. But there are ways, there are do's and don'ts, and thank God I was able to be exposed to a number of good teachings, which teaches me to control my aggression. And yes, of course, I get angry, but you wouldn't know. I have an outburst once in a while. My last outburst was over a year plus ago. I told it to a young lady, a dear friend who I trust. Should I say trusted? I still do trust her, but I don't think she trusts me. I don't think she understands what I understand, and she doesn't make a great effort to. And so bad, too bad for her. One day she will say, "Oh God, man, I really wish I saw what Alex had seen." But time. So my anger is kind of dealt with in different ways. And yes, you might have a debate with me over anger and hope if you want, but you get my message. So to be perpetually in this mode of survival creates a norming kind of a counter-progressive attitude. And people will try to remain surviving because they are not sure if they're going to continue to survive, if they rock the boat, if they move beyond, if they try to be too aggressive and it didn't work. See what happened to, what's his name again? The gentleman in Russia. Oh, his name eludes me right now. The one who tried to ruffle Putin's feather. His plane fell from the sky. I cannot say anything conclusively. I don't know. It would be stupid and foolish of me to conclude that anybody killed him. I just know that planes don't just fall from the skies. That's the least thing to happen. Some of us, when we up there, we feel a little turbulence, we're scared. Planes don't fall. Planes are taken down. Anytime a plane fall like that, chances are it was downed. Because he tried to challenge the authority of a ruthless, known, authoritative dictator. Now, I do not know Dominica has that. To say that would be to make it too easy for the person who probably wants to be. So I'm not going to give any label that has not been told. Dominica is a democracy with a democratic government led by someone who understands the tenets of democracy. If I am told Dominica is no longer a democracy, then, or if I see more than one thing that suggests, then, but I think people still relatively speak, and yeah, the election is not fair, but it is kind of free and greatly manipulated. It's not to the extent that you can say, oh, Dominica is a Russia. Although it might be getting there, but I'm not sure. The point I'm making is people are watching and they're seeing what happens to people who fall out of line with people who are aggressive, with power. And for some people, they will not want to even suggest that they're hungry when they're hungry because they're afraid the people who are feeding them don't feed them. And herein lies the problem to navigate, because you need those people who are scared, who have given up, who are in survival mode to help you, to help them to take that albatross from around their neck that is keeping them in survival. And how do you do that? By being angry and vexatious and blaming them? No. Political science have taught us how. There are a number of concepts and theories. And Dr. Trifid too. And other such people who understand. You need a master plan to deal with the problems, have a strategic approach to solving the problem, have an implementation plan for it. It is not a thing that you can just shout and do or call a rally and a protest and do. It calls for more penetrative deep dive which follows through on data. You need to know by knowing. You cannot know by thinking. Have to go to the people's homes, sit down with them, spend the day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 days in the field, get this science, get the intel, work with it. Don't give up on Dominica. But there are some people who want to think they are the doctors, and they are the ones who are causing the problems. Some of the doctors now of the politics in Dominica should be the patients. So that Viva Mamo et al. Is my sort of contribution when it comes to the constant perpetual existence in survival mode. It is not other people. Some yes, but the majority no. It is those people who are leading other people on both sides of the political establishment. Because there are two major established political orders in Dominica, not parties, orders. There are some new parties emerging, thank God. Things will change. But you see the old stale majority and minority status quo, both must be purged from the space of power for Dominica to move forward. I'm not saying that it must disappear, but a new dispensation is upon us. And you have the same old waltz. It's not going to make sense. The children not listening to you. No matter how much you try to entrap them with their message and try to lure them in your corner, it will not work. Their heart is not in it. They're not in love with you. What have you done for the youth before now? Show me one track record that you have of working with youth. If you have it, the youth will come with you, but you don't have nothing. The youth don't know you. And to come and claim youth message and say it's your message and rally wrong youth message. In which book you see that happening? So, part of my message today, and I'm going to read from my post, is how we make an appeal to the youth. And the appeal is made through my work. The appeal is made through the things that I have done in my life. And I'll continue to do, especially totally dedicating everything that I do for the next 10 years. I gave myself 10 years to create literature and to do things that would engender growth and progress in the politics. That's my field. I'm a political professional. That is my field. So I will do all I can to help the youth to understand what has happened before them and how they can analyze it and move forward. 10 years. If God blesses me with that, I will do it for my youth. So I will constantly reach out to the youth. Tell me, what is your plan for the youth? Those of you who have been in power for 20-something years, well, either side. Tell me, show me. My plan is there in terms of the Dominica Political Legacy series of dedicating 10 years of literature to the youth, with a scholarship from the sale of that book for people to study politics and law. Show me what you have for the youth. So it is right in here in terms of what I think in my area, because I'm not a medical doctor. I can't speak about medicine. I have to deal with things in my area, and I think our people need to understand this a bit better. So I'm going to focus on this by looking at the work of our leaders. See what they tried to do, what they did do, what's their legacy, how they earned it. And I put it together in a thing called the Dominica Political Leadership Legacy Series. And the first book, Dame Eugenia, which you should get, guys, you should get it, encapsulate what this DPLLS is. I'm going to read from the book a little today because I want you to keep on getting the book. And I'm getting the messages, I'm getting the pictures, I'm getting the hits on my Amazon offers page that you're purchasing the book, and that is good, guys. I want to sell 1 million copy, hopefully sometime, hopefully, not right now. And for those people who like to exaggerate, I never said I want to sell it now. Hopefully in my lifetime, or probably after my lifetime, because some artists and people become more popular in death. So I do not know what's going to happen, but the book is there, and I'm claiming a million copies. I'm claiming it. If we have a million copies in sale, there are lots of people who are going to be able to go study. The Dominican Political Leadership Series is a 10-year project in the first instance, August 2023 to August 2033. The idea is driven by a thirst for political knowledge and improve cordial, respectful, responsible, and progressive engagement within the Dominican political space. It's written there, guys, in the precursor to the discussion in the book. The average Dominican is not politically predisposed as would be desired, and because this has created a widening divide among the citizenry, particularly over the last 2 decades, this new thrust will hopefully address some of the nuances which have contributed to the disparities in Dominican politics. In order for there to be political growth, people should engage, but there is a neutral or natural spirit of disengagement and intolerance which have gripped too many. If and when we learn about each other's ways, then and only then we will see meaningful progress. We do better when we understand each other, but political partisanship has not allowed this to happen. DPLLS intends to promote a different type of political mobility. It is the view of this DPLLS project that there should be a decade dedicated to begin the redefinition of Dominica's political culture. I stop. Get a book, get a copy, guys, and read it. There was a decade of the woman in the 1970s, and after that, women became prime ministers. Dame Eugenia became the first woman prime minister in the Caribbean, following the decades of the woman. You can't do a thing overnight. You can't call for a rally in 24 hours, in 2 days. Man, plan the rally for a year. Mobilize the message, do things, raise funds, print t-shirt, get loudspeaker, get performances. 2-3 days, rally. 10 years I'm giving myself, and I'm claiming it by God's grace if I'm here. And I believe the difference will be seen. But I can't do it alone. I'm expecting other political scientists to join with me and help me. Because we have to shift from where we are today. If we do not do that, no adeba. And that's it, man. I think I did the topic. I responded to Viva in the way that I had to. I connected my message with the book. And I spoke about my work and my plan for 10 years of work. Dedicated. Nobody has to pay me. Just buy the book. That's it. Read it and pass on the knowledge. 10 years to the young people of Dominica. Because those of you who say you are concerned about the youth, some of you who were youth before you got in position have not shown us. And I challenge anyone for them to show me what the current youthful prime minister has done for youth in Dominica. One big policy position that changed the life of any youth, anyone. Show it to me. And don't give me any gimmick about a scholarship there. No. Show me this big government policy that have changed the life of one youth. Make them a millionaire or a major sports person or anything in life. So I rest my case. I'm done. I'm not too sure whether there are any more comments on the live, but I'm going to take a pause, and I have to join Carlos Charles on Team Unity Dominica's program coming up at 3 o'clock. And I'm always on time, always early and on time. So I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to get ready. But let me quickly check to see whether there's any comment. Mr. Producer, if there's a comment, you can put it up. Anyone, any major one? I'll deal with it. I can also watch from my end as well to see if there's anything. And I can quickly respond and move on. Oh, you know what, Evelina, my dear sister, Everglows, Blanc, what's going on? You always support me, and I'm appreciative. I always support you as well, and it's nice that you're here. She says, "Hi, bro. You are so right." Eh, Sugar S, my niece that I have named. I saw you, on the chat when you say, "Ask my uncle about the name Sugar S." Uh, I will speak about. I have to do a program on you, Sugar S, one day. I think you deserve a program. Nice to see you, Sugar S. Thank you. Two of my favorite people, Evelina and Sugar S. It is nice to have you guys and everyone else who has been on. I am finished. I'm going to take a break, and I will see you guys next week, Sunday. I'm thinking of doing something, and if I decide to do it, I will speak to my team to see if they want me to go ahead and do it. If I do it, it's going to be explosive. It's going to be a first, but it's an observation that I've made with the politics in Dominica and the parliamentary proceedings in Dominica for a while, and I might say something about it. I know maybe you might have been thinking it, but I have been wrestling with what I've been seeing, and I might make a statement. We'll see how that goes next week Sunday. But until then, take care. Join Carlos and I on the program at 3 o'clock on TUD's social media pages, platforms. I can't remember the topic Carlos gave me, but I'm just going to be there with him to support whatever in any other way. Cheers, guys. See you next week.